All right, let's dive into a question that you're probably seeing everywhere these days. Can AI replace judges? Now, on the surface, this feels like a straightforward tech question, but as we're about to see, it actually cracks open a much deeper conversation about the very nature of justice itself. When we first hear this question, our minds immediately go to a kind of competition, right? It's like a showdown. The cold, hard logic of a machine versus the wisdom and experience of a human. And yeah, it seems pretty simple. You just weigh the pros and cons, figure out who's more accurate, who's more fair. It's the classic human versus machine story. But what if that whole way of thinking is a trap? What if the question itself is the problem? Because it's built on a really deep, hidden assumption, one that sends us searching for an answer in completely the wrong place. And that flawed idea? Well, we can call it the myth of perfection. The real problem isn't our answer to the question. It's the hidden belief that a perfect, totally error-free judgment is even possible to begin with. We keep asking who is better, because deep down, we're hoping one of them, either the person or the program, can finally deliver a system with zero mistakes. But what if that very goal, the dream of eliminating error, is actually what's holding us back? Look, we all know humans make mistakes. That's not news. The really interesting part is how our systems react to those mistakes. When a judge has so much authority, their judgment can feel like a final declaration, not an explanation. And to protect that sense of authority, errors sometimes aren't fixed. They're just handled with silence. And that gets us to the absolute heart of the matter. The true test of a justice system isn't whether it can avoid messing up. It's about what happens after it messes up. How is that error treated? And thinking about it that way, well, that changes everything. So what this really means is we have to just toss out that old question. We need to start over with a new one that completely shifts the entire debate away from this impossible chase for perfection. This slide nails the change in thinking. On the left, you've got the wrong question. Is AI a better judge? That just sets up a competition. But the question on the right gets to the real issue. Which system handles its own errors more honestly? We stop asking who's smarter, and we start asking which process is more transparent and accountable when things, inevitably go wrong. So it's not about the final decision anymore. It's about the journey to get there. We're no longer judging the judge, we're judging the design of the entire system. Okay, so using this new frame of mind, let's compare human judges and AI systems again and see what we find. Just look at this breakdown. A human judge's process can be totally opaque, right? It's all happening in their mind, their conscience, and if an error happens, it can be hidden away. But with an AI, the whole process is recorded, it's traceable. An error isn't some personal failing, it's a visible structural problem, a bug in the code or bad data that is right there demanding to be fixed. And this is so, so important. The greatest strength of an AI in this context isn't being perfect. It's that it cannot hide its own imperfections. It's like a giant mirror that reflects all the flaws in our system in a way that is just impossible to ignore. So, this reframing, it doesn't just give us a new way to think about tech. It actually puts a huge choice in front of us about what we truly want our justice system to be. Because maybe the goal was never to reach some final, flawless version of justice. Maybe what we really need is revisable justice, a system that's designed to be updated, to be corrected, a system that's built to learn from its own mistakes. So when we're trying to figure out if any system of judgment is ethical, whether it's run by a person or a program, it all boils down to these three questions. Can a mistake be hidden? Does it eventually see the light of day? And can you actually fix it? The answers to those questions tell you everything. In the end, this was never really a choice between a human and an algorithm. It's a choice about the kind of world we want to build around our own unavoidable mistakes. What happens after the wrong call is made, that's what really defines justice. And that leaves us with this final question to think about. Do we want a system that protects its authority by pretending to be perfect? Or do we want a system that's humble enough to admit when it's wrong and brave enough to fix it? The answer we choose won't just decide the future of AI in the courtroom. It will define the future of justice itself.